Good evening and welcome. What unfolded in today's Pam Bondi confirmation hearing was not just a tense exchange between a senator and a nominee, it was a revealing moment about truth, power, and the lingering shadow of the 2020 election. If you want clear, grounded breakdowns of moments like this that actually explain what's at stake, make sure you subscribe to the channel right now so you do not miss what comes next.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before I begin, I just want to remind us all for the record that the 34 convictions, not indictments, convictions of former President, incoming President Trump were by a jury of his peers. Thank you, Ms. Bondi, for being here today, and I too would like to welcome your family and friends who are here.
Thank you.
Appreciated the opportunity to meet yesterday to learn about your priorities and discuss a number of issues that are important to me. But I got to tell you, as I reflected on our conversation yesterday and as I've observed the hearing today, I continue to have significant reservations on your ability to function as a truly independent Attorney General for your friend. Let's say you keep referring to him, your friend, President-elect Trump. So I hope you can address some of these concerns through your responses to my questions here. Now, the first issue area is something that we didn't get a chance to touch on yesterday. So I actually want to follow up on some of Senator Durbin's questions from earlier about the 2020 election. And to be specific, on the day after the 2020 presidential general election, you traveled to Philadelphia to appear alongside President Trump's then attorney, Rudy Giuliani. And together, you falsely asserted that President Trump had, quote, won Pennsylvania in that election. Now, I want to be clear, at that moment, there were still at least 1 million ballots left to be counted in Pennsylvania. Of course, President Biden went on to win the state by more than 80,000 votes. But in the following days, even after the results were clear, you continued to double down on the big lie, promoting falsehoods about election fraud and cheating without offering any actual evidence. And I remember it clearly because I served as California Secretary of State at the time, and I invited anybody associated with the Trump campaign who was making these claims to come forward with evidence of irregularities in the election or massive voter fraud. 4 years later, I still have seen none. So I ask you today, do you have any evidence of election fraud or irregularities in the 2020 election?
So, First Senator.
Yes or no? It's a yes or no question.
First Senator.
Do you have evidence, yes or no?
First Senator. I'm so sorry about the fires to you and Senator Schiff and what you're going through in your states. I have to say that.
I appreciate that.
All
my
of our,
clock is
I'll
ticking, and I want to hear
all of our
your answer.
hearts go out to everyone in California for what you're facing right now. I'm glad you asked the question about Pennsylvania.
It's a yes or no question.
I was
Do
hoping
you have evidence,
someone
yes or
would.
no?
Senator, I was hoping you'd ask the question.
Do you have evidence, yes or no?
I traveled to Pennsylvania.
Do you have the evidence, yes
I traveled,
or no?
Senator, to Pennsylvania.
Okay. You're not answering my question. If you have no evidence to offer, let me ask you this. Will you now retract your previous statements that Trump won Pennsylvania in the 2020 election, yes or no?
Oh, Senator, I traveled to Pennsylvania, and let me tell you what I saw firsthand.
Yes or
no? I didn't talk about California because I was not in California. I talked about...
Yes or no? Last time I'm going to ask.
I talked about Pennsylvania because
Mr. Chair,
I was there.
I'm going to move on because she's clearly not answering my questions. And I want to know, colleagues, for everybody, members of the committee and everybody watching, that the attorney who stood beside Mr. Giuliani was making very similar statements. And he has since been disbarred from multiple jurisdictions for making these false claims about the 2020 election in court. And like Mr. Giuliani, as you've noted today, you've taken an oath to uphold the Constitution just as an attorney. And now you're asking us to consider you to serve as the chief law enforcement officer in our country. So it's imperative, Ms. Bondi, that you subscribe to facts and evidence and not politically convenient conspiracy theories. Your job will be, your job will be to protect voters and election workers, not to undermine and dox them. Now, I know that earlier you agreed that Joe Biden is in fact president, but many of the president-elect's inner circle continue to spread the big lie about the 2020 election. Then we'll move on to a different topic, because I know
Senator,
that's one
you were
that you're obviously
speaking.
not comfortable
May
with.
I speak? You
When
cut
I
me
ask
off
you the
when I
next
was
question, you
speaking.
can speak, and I hope you answer, Ms. Bondi.
Well, I'd
now,
like
when
to
we met
answer
yesterday,
the previous one, Senator.
when we met yesterday,
You pointed your finger at me and
you
said
did not
you were
seem
speaking.
to be familiar
Let me answer
with
my question.
the
I'm not going to be
citizenship
bullied by you,
clause, the
Senator
14th
Padilla.
Amendment of the United States of America, which was deeply disappointing.
I guess you
And I'm
didn't want to
hoping you're
hear
more
my
familiar
answer
with it
about
today
Pennsylvania.
after I gave an opportunity to study overnight. So can you tell me and this committee what the citizenship clause of the 14th Amendment says?
Senator, I'm here to answer your questions. I'm not here to do your homework and study for you. If I am confirmed as
You're
Attorney
the one
General,
asking for a confirmation
hey,
vote,
you
ma'am.
cut me off. Can I please finish?
What does the 14th Amendment say?
Senator, the 14th Amendment, we all know, addresses birthright citizenship. I've been a state prosecutor. I've been a state AG. I look forward to, even given your remarks today, working with you and the people of California if I am confirmed as the 87th Attorney General of the United States of America. I didn't take your homework assignment. I'm sorry. I was preparing for today.
So on the 14th Amendment, now you've testified repeatedly to this committee that you will uphold the laws of this country and defend the Constitution of the United States. Do you believe birthright citizenship is the law of the land, and will you defend it regardless of a child born in the United States, regardless of their parents' immigration status?
Senator, I will study birthright citizenship. I would love to meet with you regarding
Ma'am, you're
birthright
asking us
citizenship.
to
Can I
consider you
answer
to
the
serve as the
question?
Attorney General of the United States, and you still need to study the 14th Amendment of the Constitution? That is not helping me have more confidence in your ability to do this job. One other immigration-related question, I'll steer clear of the
I have
Constitution
one
and the
regarding
law.
that I'd like to
Senator
talk about.
Hirona asked you earlier, but I don't think you answered her question. Can you please tell us, do you agree with the statement that immigrants are, quote, poisoning the blood of our country, yes or no?
I did not say that.
I did not say that you said that. I'm asking if you agree with it, yes or no?
I did not say that.
Do you agree with it, yes or no?
Senator, my great-grandparents are immigrants.
Do you agree with it,
They
yes or no?
came here from Sicily
Do you agree
through
with it,
Ellis
yes or
Island
no?
when they were teenagers.
Do you agree with it, yes or no?
Senator, let me answer the question.
Yes or no? It's
My
real simple.
great-grandparents came here, immigrated to this country from Sicily, recently went and found each of their birth certificates. We are a nation made up of immigrants. Do I believe immigrants are poisoning our country? No, Senator.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chair, I can't wait for the second round.
Same, Senator. Thank you. No, sir. Thank you.
The exchange began with a reminder that immediately set the tone. A senator placed on the record that Donald Trump's 34 convictions were not allegations or indictments, but convictions delivered by a jury. That framing mattered because it established the central question hanging over the hearing, whether Pam Bondi could truly function as an independent attorney general if confirmed, or whether her long-standing loyalty to Trump would shape her judgment. The senator acknowledged meeting with Bondi privately the day before, but said that after reflecting on that conversation and watching her testimony, his concerns had only grown. The issue was not personality or qualifications on paper, it was independence. Specifically, independence from a president she repeatedly referred to as her friend. That word, friend, kept coming up, and in a role that demands separation from political loyalty, it landed heavily in the room. If you are finding this breakdown helpful and want more context-driven reporting that goes beyond the sound bites, subscribe now. It helps the channel and keeps you informed. The questioning then turned to an issue that has defined American politics for 4 years, the 2020 election. The senator pointed to Bondi's actions the day after Election Day, when she traveled to Philadelphia and appeared publicly alongside Rudy Giuliani. At that moment, more than 1 million ballots in Pennsylvania were still uncounted. Despite that, Bondi asserted that Trump had won the state. He did not. Joe Biden ultimately won Pennsylvania by more than 80,000 votes. What made this line of questioning especially pointed was not just what Bondi said in November 2020, but what she continued to say afterward. Even after courts rejected fraud claims and results were certified, she continued to promote allegations of cheating without presenting evidence. evidence. The senator speaking was California's Secretary of State at the time, the official responsible for overseeing elections in the nation's most populous state. He reminded the room that he publicly invited anyone from the Trump campaign to present evidence of widespread fraud. 4 years later, he said, none has been provided. Then came the question that cut to the core. Do you have any evidence of election fraud or irregularities in the 2020 election? Yes or no? This is where the moment shifted from political disagreement to something more instructive. Bondi did not answer yes or no. Instead, she offered condolences for wildfires in California and expressed sympathy for the senator's state. It was a human gesture, but also a deflection. The senator pressed again, yes or no. She pivoted to describing her travel to Pennsylvania. Again, no direct answer. If you are trying to understand how power avoids accountability in real time, this is exactly why moments like this matter. Subscribe to the channel so we can keep breaking them down together. What viewers may not immediately realize is why this exchange is so significant. The Attorney General is not just another cabinet official. The Attorney General oversees federal prosecutions, election-related investigations, and the enforcement of civil rights and voting laws. If a nominee cannot or will not acknowledge the absence of evidence for the biggest false claim in modern American politics, it raises serious questions about how they would handle similar claims in the future. This was not about relitigating 2020 for its own sake. It was about whether the nation's top law enforcement officer would be guided by facts and evidence or by loyalty and narrative. The refusal to answer a simple yes or no was itself an answer, and that is what made the exchange so uncomfortable to watch. If you value reporting that slows these moments down and explains why they matter beyond the headline, subscribe to the channel. These hearings shape the future of the justice system, and understanding them is not optional in a functioning democracy. As the hearing continues, the central question remains unresolved. Can Pam Bondi separate herself from Donald Trump and enforce the law without fear or favor, or will past loyalty define future decisions? Today's exchange did not settle that question, but it made one thing clear. Independence is not something you declare, it is something you demonstrate, especially when the answer is as simple as yes or no. Stay with us, subscribe, and we will keep bringing you the context, the clarity, and the truth behind the noise.